Hey everyone, Kyle Meinke here from MLive.com, joined by Justin Rogers. OTAs are in the books, Justin, and today was the start of mandatory minicamp. Big difference between OTAs and minicamp is just that this is mandatory.
Right.
It's basically the same deal, same rhythm to practice. They're in shorts, no contact. But everyone's here, with the exception of Jason Jones and Corey Wooten. And what was your big takeaway from day one?
Man, that Eric Ebron guy,
Yeah.
he keeps working himself into the headlines. But we were hard, I guess, maybe on him for the first two practices where we saw him drop a lot of passes. Today and even the last OTA, incredibly crisp practices. He caught some bullets from Stafford's day. He caught one down the sideline. He caught a little flare out of the backfield. Caught one in between three defenders in 7-on-7 drills. Just starting to look so much more comfortable and confident. And I understand we're seeing just snapshots here. He could have had bad practices, maybe the days we weren't out OTAs,
right,
or good practices, but I just get a sense that his swagger that maybe was kind of flaming out a little bit is coming back very strong right now.
Yeah, Jim Caldwell, I think, spoke to your point a little bit after practice too, saying he was pleased with what he saw from Ebron today. But like he's been telling Ebron, he's got to stack them on top of each other.
Absolutely.
And that's been the big thing with Ebron, is that you do see the ability in spurts here and there, but it's he's got to be consistent. He's got to catch the football, and to his credit, he's done that. I mean, he had a really bad start to OTAs, dropped 3 or 4 passes, whatever it was, the first one that we saw. But the past 2 practices have been really sharp, I thought, from Ebron, particularly today. And I liked it too. After practice, I think he was like the second or third to last guy to leave practice, or he was among the last because he was taking extra balls off the jugs machine. And even after a good practice, and we saw it after the bad practices, but now he's doing it after the good practices too. And I think that shows some maturity maybe you didn't see as much of last year. Flipping it to the other side of the ball, Justin, Rashean Mathis impressed me as well. Really a big day from him. And we all love Darius Slay and love talking about him and talking to him because he's a goofball. But the old man can still get it done. I thought he was one of the best players out there today. 2 real big splash plays. One broke up a pass to Ebron at the last second with a real good break, and then he also broke up a corner route to Calvin Johnson in the end zone. Underthrown ball, to be sure, but we've seen Calvin Johnson get those kind of balls all the time, and Mathis was able to break it up. I thought he had a real good day.
Yeah, I mean, he showed closing speed more than anything. Yeah, Stafford underthrew that pass a little bit. If it was game speed and contact, I think probably Calvin would have put a little bit of effort, but you saw that closing speed. So, I think Mathis is a guy we don't have to talk about stacking good practice on top of good practice. Right. This guy's done it for years and years and years and years. I saw today on ESPN via Pro Football Focus, they were talking about the most underrated value guys from last season, and Lions put 2 on that list in terms of production versus contract
George
value.
Johnson?
No, DeAndre Levy, which no surprise there, and Rashean Mathis. He just continues to get the job done. How old now? 34, 35?
Turned 35 during camp.
It's remarkable because he plays a position that is such a position that rewards youth in terms of speed, change of direction, and yet he's maintained all that while adding the wily veteran moves and just building upon his knowledge of the game. So he it's a weird player to be relying on, but they continue to do it, and they're reaping the benefits from that.
Yeah, cornerback's a position where it's so difficult. I mean, it takes like 3 years for most guys to pick up the position. It's a position that it's so difficult to keep up with the receivers nowadays with how big and fast they are. That if you lose even half a step, you can be Chris Houston. You can be out of the game or something, because that's the difference from going from a productive corner to a guy who can't cover anybody, and a guy who's 34 and still keeping up with the Eric Ebrons and Calvin Johnsons of the world, at least to some degree. I think it really speaks to just his ability, obviously, but also his mind and the way he's able to use that veteran savvy, as you alluded to. I saw him today. He's just sprinting all over the field, like on that play where he broke it up to Calvin. That's on the far side. He lined up on the right side of the defense, finished on the left side in the corner of the end zone, ran diagonally all the way across back the field, and he's like slapping like young guys on the butt, like hitting helmets and all that stuff. I mean, he just has energy. And then he was lined up for the next play, and it's just pretty amazing how much that engine is still going.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned Houston. Mathis was in that boat. After serious knee injuries, Jacksonville showed him the door, and he didn't know if his career was done, and Detroit took that chance on him, pulling him off the scrap heap in training camp. And we can't speak enough, not just on his play, but you mentioned his interaction with the young players. I've talked to him about it. He's just so rejuvenated by this youth. I guess it's kind of hard not to be rejuvenated by Darius Slade, just the energy he brings. But Alex Carter too. It's a different kind of energy, but it's a kid that's extremely. He's a go-getter, and he's just got such a passion for the game, and you see that already. And seeing Mathis out there and the things he brings to the field is so beneficial to those young guys and Slade, Mathis, Quandre Diggs, the knowledge they can soak up from him and the passion they can soak up from him.
One other guy I wanted to mention from today that impressed me, and again, we've talked about him before, Justin, but Karan Reed. I mean, we've noticed his physical development, his presence on the defensive line. He just looks like a different player, like a more assertive player, like he actually knows what he's doing. And today was the first day since the first round of OTAs that Haloti Ngata and Tyron Walker were both out there, the projected starters, if you will, that everyone's writing about as the starters. And it was Ngata and Reed in the starting lineup, and he didn't look out of place. And I mean, I think that's a real battle now between Reed and Tyron Walker, whereas I think most of us projected Tyron Walker to have that job. And so that's certainly something we'll watch throughout camp. You have to like what you see from him so far.
Yeah, I am in 100% agreement. I was talking to another writer about it today, and you can't tell anything at this stage because, or you could tell very little at this stage because
particularly with linemen.
Yeah, because the contact in there is just different without pads. But what Reed's done is he's done everything he could do. He's come in here and he just noticeably looks different physically. He looks more comfortable. You can see the burst off of the ball when the ball is snapped. He's so quick into the gap that he's penetrating, and it is going to be a battle. I think we did expect Tyron Walker to get that job, getting the contract, that 1 year contract. Can't remember the exact amount, 1.5 or 1.8 million or something like that. That spoke to starter money, but. If Reed wins, this staff has been, pretty steady in its commitment to a meritocracy. He'll have earned it.
So we got from the first day of mandatory minicamp. We'll be back here in Allen Park at 3 o'clock Wednesday for day 2. For Justin Rogers, I'm Kyle Meinke. We are MLive. Keep your ear.